Welcome back. We're looking at the US elections through the eyes of the international community, gauging an idea of how much real interest there is in other countries. For example, who are Africans supporting for the White House, Obama or McCain, and how important is the choice of the next US president to the Arab world? Joining me to answer those questions is Salim Amin, chairman of A24 Media, which launched this September as Africa's first online agency for audiovisual content. Salim, who joins us from Nairobi in Kenya, is chairman of the Mohammed Amin Foundation too. From Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, we have Khalid Al-Maina, editor-in-chief of the Arab News, the region's most widely read paper. And here in Washington, D.C. is Paulo Sotero, the director of the Brazil Institute of the Woodrow Wilson Center. For the past 17 years, he was Washington correspondent for O Estado de São Paulo, a leading Brazilian daily newspaper. Now, as we get back to our discussion, we bring in Abdurrahman on the line from London. Abdurrahman, what would you like to ask?
Yes, I just would like to say, Obama, I'm supportive of Obama, and his dad is from Kenya, and his dad is Muslim, and he's Christian, and he has got blood brother or sister in Indonesia, which is from Asia. I mean, he's an American. He's everything. Every corner you go, he's perfect. So I would support American people to give a vote for him. I'll be very appreciative to them, really, because he's from every corner.
Abdurrahman, thank you. I want to ask Khalid Al-Maina how much the issue of Islam and the way it's been handled in this US campaign has been followed in the Arab world. Of course, there's been a lot of controversy about even how the Obama campaign has handled the Islam issue.
Well, I think it has been a bit of a disappointment. I don't think so people believe that Obama, I mean, they're not concerned about his religion and all, because he has himself come out on so many occasions and pronounced his allegiance to a different faith, Christianity, which we all respect. At the same time, the only thing that disappointed people here was that while he had gone to visit other places of worship, like a church and a synagogue and a temple, he shied away from visiting a mosque. I think the fear of a backlash from people who would think that he's a Muslim. I think, and personally, as a liberal, I was disappointed. He could have gone down there. The other thing that upset people was the removal of two people, or two women wearing hijab, who were sitting behind the podium where he was supposed to come and speak. Otherwise, I don't think so. There are people who claim or think that he's a Muslim, but for me and for many others, it doesn't matter, because whoever you are and whatever you are in the United States, I mean, there are institutions, and I would like to comment on what some of our African brothers are saying. Obama has got a lot of problems to handle. I doubt whether, because of his Kenyan roots, he will immediately switch over and solve African problems. He's got major problems in the United States, and if he's elected, I think the first 100 days will be spent just within looking at Wall Street, looking at crime, looking at the budget. So I don't think so people in Africa should really be overexcited at the thought of Obama coming. Yes, we would be happy here in the Arab world, because Obama would like to engage. His view on Iran, that he would like to speak, Syria and other countries, I think that's a sign of satisfaction for us.
Okay, now we have Dali on the line from Nigeria. Dali, what would you like to ask?
Yes, and thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
Yes, I just want to make my suggestion as an African. I don't see Obama making any difference to the country of Africa if he eventually becomes the president of U.S. And then, to be sincere critically, I think the presidential election in U.S. so far has all been political jargons, which is all over the world whenever there's an election. But sincerely, to the in-depth, the policy and the nature of the government of U.S. still remains. Whoever is going there. And as an African, Obama, I still see him more or less like a white than a black man.
Okay, Dali, let me ask Paulo Sotero here on this issue of how much there is faith in the American voting system. I mean, people looking back, you know, for example, in Latin America, looking at the elections of 2000 and 2004, are there expectations that there is real democracy and free and fair elections in the U.S.?
No, there is democracy, there is free and fair election. There are some serious problems in the machinery of the electoral process. For instance, in Brazil, in Mexico, in Venezuela, we have fixed those, and I think that the Americans have to revisit this issue. It's amazing that we are talking in 2008 about vote suppression. We finished that in Brazil. about 20 years ago in the backwaters of Brazil, in the very rural lands of Brazil. So it's a matter of adopting a system that works, is the very core of the democratic process, and there is some apprehension about that. I have friends on both sides that will go out to verify that people are having the right to exercise, this freedom, which is to elect the president.
Salim Amin, before I take another phone call, to what extent do you think that the Bush administration has set a tone for how the outside world sees America, especially when there were quotes such as "you're with us" or "against us" and similar sentiments being expressed by the Bush administration?
Well, I think the Bush administration has done a very bad job in terms of PR for America. I think there's been a huge perception problem which Senator Obama will change overnight if he becomes the next president of the United States. Africa especially sees the Bush administration as one that has pursued war, has gone into a conflict in Iraq that it had no business going into. Many see 9/11 as being the stamp that Bush needed to continue to stay in power. Many think he would not have won the second election had there not been a 9/11. So there's been a very negative perception, and we continue to feel that we are being talked down to in Africa, and hopefully Obama will change that.
Ghazanfar is on the line from Saudi Arabia. Good to hear from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ghazanfar?
Hi, Riz, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just wanted to share my perspective regarding the U.S. elections. From my own personal perspective, I would just say that people who are, optimistic to some extent regarding Obama winning the election in Africa, or in the U.S., people in Africa are optimistic and stuff. The thing is, in my opinion, the only person who would win is the one who would have the support of the imperialistic lobby, which involves the free marketeers, the Zionist lobby, the evangelical Christians, the military.
Ghazanfar, it's interesting you raised this. I want to put this to Khalid Al-Maina, and I'll put it with an email we also got from Hungary. And Khalid, if I can put this to you, Ildiko Kalman wrote in saying, an Obama win would mean breaking away from the stale convention that only a Caucasian, nominally Christian Anglo-Saxon man can make it to the executive office. Alas, Obama probably won't be able to do a lot in making U.S. foreign policy truly more humanitarian, which primarily includes taking the Palestinians into as much regard as human beings as Israeli citizens are. And I wonder, because Ghazanfar raised the issue of, the lobbies here, and the Israeli lobby is considered, or at least the pro-Israel lobby is considered strong. We've got about 30, 40 seconds. If you can just tell me what you think the expectations are in the Arab world of some real engagement on the Israeli-Palestinian issue, please.
Well, I think we would hope that the roadmap will be revived again, although Mr. Obama went and said to appease, is because the road to the White House or any house has to go through Tel Aviv. Obama did say that he will make Jerusalem the eternal capital, and I think, but maybe that was election rhetoric. What I think is Obama may, because of his ancestry, would have more sympathy for the Palestinians than Mr. McCain.
Listen, I want to thank you very much, gentlemen, all for joining us. So much more to ask, but never enough time. And thank you to our live station crew for being very active in there. We had many calls we couldn't get to. Sorry about that. Coming up on the Riz Khan Show this week, we continue our coverage of the U.S. elections with 2 special panel interviews, listening to the views of young Americans. On Wednesday's show, we have a panel of politically diverse youth, followed the next day by a group of young African-American voters talking economy, education, and how much race really matters this time around. From me and the team, we'll see you next time.
Da